Director of Commerce and Management Studies, Marthoma College, Chungatara, Mr. Binoy, and our Honorable Principal of Marthoma College, Mrs. Dr. Reina Thomas, and all the faculty members of Marthoma College, participants, and friends. Good afternoon to one and all. It is really a pleasant moment for me because a reunion with my old colleagues gives me so much pleasure. Some of you may not know that I started my official career as a lecturer in economics in Marthoma College, Chungatara in 1996. Even though before that I have been teaching in various parallel colleges, tuition centers, etc. in an informal way. The formal way of teaching came to realize only in 1996 when I was selected by the management of Marthoma College. And there I spent around 5 years and 3 months together with the friends like Gopalakrishnan. Gopalakrishnan, we call as a nickname GK. He is a very enthusiastic person, though he is very younger to me. We call him as GK. GK is the short name of general knowledge. So he is a knowledgeable person even at a very younger age. Now he is later on he became a great leader of various teachers organizations, student organizations. Now he is leading one of the most prominent center of knowledge in Kerala. Thank you, Mr. Gopalakrishnan. After taking over charge, I think this is the first time that we are meeting together. So, and also we stayed together. Myself and GK were together in the same hostel for 5.5 years. So we know the temperature and everything about me and him. So thank you very much for giving such an opportunity to spare a few hours with you. And Mr. Rajiv Thomas, similar to Mr. GK, who is the most, what I should say, dynamic person in Marthoma College ever since I know him. Now he is also placed in the leadership format. Now he is the head of the department, slowly moving to, I hope, and I pray that be the principal of Marthoma College within the foreseeable time. So that warmth, memories of Marthoma College is still with me. Because you may not understand the conditions of 1990s, the poverty, the illiteracy, everything was very high during those times. So we spent our most flourishing period in Marthoma College in such a wonderful fashion, only with the help and assistance of these colleagues at that time. So I remember those good old days. And when Mr. Rajiv Thomas called me to present a program during this seminar, I have no other option other than succumbing to his demands. So immediately getting this call, I told him that there is no problem. I am ready to come with your platform, and that is how I have been part of this venture. So diffusion is actually one of the very important words nowadays. We are talking about ICT diffusion. That is entry of information and communication technology in every realm of life. ICT in banking, ICT in service sector, ICT in normal life. Now we are talking about ICT diffusion in education. So here diffusion, you are diffusing not IT, but you are diffusing the research ideas, research steps to bring up an army of prospective researchers. That is a very good idea. I strongly congratulate the framers who have given that name, and you have also identified the best of the best faculty members who can deliver such a fantastic lectures to the prospective researchers even in this pandemic period. Okay, thank you very much. With this brief introduction, today what we are going to examine is I am asked to discuss about what I call the the issue of what we call the research review of literature in research. So in this case, what I am interestingly to tell you is that, as Mr. Gopalakrishnan has rightly pointed out, uh, that research review is one of the very important step in any research. And I am a little scary when talking about how and what level of importance the researchers are giving to this issue. That is very important in the sense, because when we talk about research review, we think that it is only a space filling exercise. Space filling exercise in the sense that you can increase the size of the what we call size of the research thesis if you increase the number of research literature. So that if you increase from 30 page to 60 page, your thesis will be a little bit lengthy, and you may feel that I have produced and I have submitted a bigger thesis than my other colleague. So in that way, what happens is that students and the researchers do not give much emphasis to what I call the value and the importance of review of literature. And also, what we are doing is that we are doing literature survey in such a fashion that we are giving only an anthology or an annotated biography or bibliography only. We are just saying, taking a book or taking an article and writing what about that particular article only, without any integration to other works. So is this the way of presenting the literature review? That has to be identified, that has to be discussed with. And also we have no organization in presenting the literature review. I may tell you that there were, when we were doing research, when I started my research in 1990s, at that time, my research guide was very particular that when I approached him, said, sir, I want to do a research in a particular area. Then what he told me is that, Krishnan, you go back and come after 6 months. And I thought, why 6 months? Is it a probation period? No. What he meant is that he asked me to go back to the library, read whatever you find about your topic, and come with a concrete idea about your interested topic. So 6 months he asked me to read and come back. But now, as pointed out by GK, we are not even ready to read for 6 days. What we do? We go to the internet, pick up some of the abstract, copy it, and put in the literature review chapter only. So this is the way that we are giving emphasis to literature review in our normal research. But friends, it is not so. Literature review is very important part of, actually I should say that it is the heart of a research report. Whether it is a thesis or dissertation, or it is a research article, or it is a research report, or whatever maybe you are talking about, literature review is the heart. It pumps the blood. So just like that, unless you have a scientifically chartered research review, your thesis will not have any direction. You will get PhD, you will get DLit, no doubt, because we are living in such a atmosphere where we are giving emphasis to certification only. I think most of the studies I have seen, the very less dropout in the whole spectrum of higher education is in the research degrees. Most of the people who are joining for research gets the degree and go back. But always we are talking about the deteriorating quality of education, especially research. So what happens is that even after completing double PhD or triple PhD, some of the researchers are not able to write an original article that is fit for publication in Scopus Indus Journal or any other type of care list journal as far as UGC is concerned. Why? This is because the main issue is that we don't know how to carry out a research review and how our research issue can be mainstreamed or aligned with the existing knowledge. So, okay, friends, with this brief introductory uh, remarks, let me discuss these things while presenting the PowerPoint. I think it will be more clear to you. So, is PowerPoint visible, sir? Hello? Is my PowerPoint visible?
No, sir.
No, sir. It's not visible, sir.
Okay.
I think the camera is not switch on.
Okay. I will see now. Don't worry. I am presenting my screen. Little, please wait. Is it seen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it seen?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Is it visible? Okay.
Yes, but not in presentation mode. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now it is okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes,
You
sir.
see. Okay then. Okay. Now we come to the deliberation. What is the objective of my lecture? This is my learning objective, or the intention of my presentation is this. You should be able to understand after this, listening to this workshop, what is meant by literature review. What are the functions of the literature review? And finally, what are the steps the researcher should involve in reviewing literature? So pardon me, I know that in this forum, in this diffusion participants, we have participants who have already completed PhD or research degrees, who may be in the beginning stage, who may be in the intermediate stage, or who may be in whatever stage. Sometimes there may be PG students. So some of you may be very much familiar with these concepts. Anyhow, please bear with me, because we are mainly focusing on those who have not much idea about how to go for research review. Okay, then what we can see is that research is a process, there is no doubt. What is the process? You can see a diagram here. First, it starts with review the available literature. And after that, we move to what we call it as formulating a research question. And after moving to the research question, then we prepare a research design, research plan. Then we collect relevant data. Then analyzing this data, we interpret the findings. And finally, publish findings. So this is the whole spectrum of research, whether it is science or commerce or humanities or whatever may be, engineering, whatever may be. The research begins with what we call, you can see the first arrow is review the available literature. So after reviewing the literature, you can understand what others have already learned, what methodology they have used. Similar other features of the existing or available literature is familiar to the researcher. After familiarizing these points, you as a researcher, as a scholar who is going to apply for a PhD program, you formulate a research question. Research question is nothing but research objective. your problem. Then when we move towards selecting an appropriate research design, we have research design and we should have a study design as well. Then based on that design, you go to the relevant area. Area may be survey data or secondary data, collect it. Then analyze by using different methodologies, statistical packages, computer methods, sometimes manually, whatever maybe you are using. Then you interpret findings and finally publish the findings. So this is the research process. So in this research process, the beginning stage is review of literature. If the beginning stage is wonderfully designed, the last stage, publishing of the findings or interpretation of the findings, that will be fine-tuned. So there is a close relationship between the first stage and the last two stages. So remember this point. Then what is research review? A literature review is not a series of annotations like an annotated bibliography. So don't confuse that you are writing an annotative bibliography. And this point is very clear if you listen to a quotation given by Galvin. He published his article in 2006. In page number 72, he captures the difference between an annotated bibliography and a literature review very well. Start inverted comma. In essence, like describing trees when you really should be describing a forest. In the case of a literature review, you are really creating a new forest which you will build by using the trees you found in the literature you read. How nicely he has presented this quotation. So that gives the importance of review of literature. I encourage you to read this review, Galvin J. 2006, Writing Literature Reviews, a guide for students of the behavioral sciences. One of the best classic literature for understanding the meaning and importance of review of literature. As I already told you that a literature review is not an annotated bibliography which you summarize briefly each article that you have reviewed. While a summary of what you have read is contained within the literature review, it goes well beyond merely summarizing professional literature. The literature review focuses on a specific topic of interest to you and includes a critical analysis of the relationship among different works and relating this research to your work. That these are the points that you should remember. The research review focuses on a specific topic of interest to you. You are the researcher. And your research should have a focus. And your research literature survey should also have a focus. And this review should have a critical analysis of the relationship among different works, different variables relating to your research topic. It may be written as a standalone paper or to provide a theoretical framework and rationale for a research study, for example, a thesis or dissertation. You can write a literature review for publishing. It is a standalone work, standalone paper. There are a very good number of international journals. They are publishing only literature review papers. Elsevier, for example, any other Scopus journals, they are publishing articles purely based on review of literature. That is known as the standalone paper. Sometimes the research review may be meant to provide a theoretical framework and rationale for a research study. Why you are going to take up this research? And what is the theory which you are going to focus on, test on, and why the study, rationale of the study, that can be clearly explained only when you read wonderfully the literature available. Literature review is the documentation of a comprehensive review of the published and even unpublished work from secondary sources of data in the areas of specific interest to the researcher. It is an integral part of the entire research process and makes a valuable contribution to almost every operational step. And the literature review vary from discipline to discipline as well as across assignments. But generally, a good literature review is designed to help you answer two questions. Remember this point. So there is some difference between the literature review among various activities, various disciplines. But whatever may be the discipline you are researching, there are some commonalities. What is the commonality? A good literature review is designed to help you answer two questions. What are the two questions? What do we know about your particular issue of research, theory, or subject? That is, what do we know about your issue of research? Secondly, what do we not know about this particular issue? That is very important. What you don't know about this issue, what you don't know about the theory, what you don't know about the subject, that is your research. So the second question lead to your research. The first question help you to build the base of your research. So finally, remember that, ensure that one is not reinventing the wheel. This is very important. You are the first person to start this, your research area. There are so many people who have researched on your area. Then when you come to the literature review, what are its functions? Do we just read just like a common journal? No, no. A literature review has number of functions. One, bring clarity and focus to your research problem. You are a beginner in your research area. You have no clarity. You have no focus. But after reading, as I told you in the beginning itself, reading 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, your focus and clarity will increase. So this is one important function of a literature review. Second one, a good literature review improve your methodology. Because after reading 300, 400, 1000 papers, research reports, and articles, you will be clear about what methodology I should follow. In primary data, what should be the methodology? In survey, which method I should adopt? So it will improve your methodology. Then broaden your knowledge base in your research area. So literature review will broaden your knowledge base. So you are then a master in the area. When somebody asks you, what is the recent development? What are the major areas discussed in your area by others? You can say it convincingly that these are the major work in this area. These are the major researchers who have gone through this area. So many other things you can have. And finally, contextualize your findings. So your findings after your study survey, what are your findings? You can contextualize. You can integrate your findings with earlier studies. So friends, remember, a literature review is expected to provide what we call these 4 main functions. One is bring clarity and focus to problem, improve your methodology, broaden your knowledge base, and also contextualize your findings. Then first, bring clarity and focus to your research problem. I told you already. How? The literature review can play an extremely important role in shaping your research problem. There is no need of any explanation for that. It also helps you define the relationship between your research problem and the body of knowledge in the area. So whatever is researched so far and what is your interest, that can be clearly connected through a better research review. Then second aspect, I told you that we can improve the methodology of our research. After doing a very good literature review, the researcher is acquainted with the methodologies that have been used by others to find answers to questions similar to the one you are investigating. So your question may be the same. So you can adopt the methodologies adopted by others. You can justify your methodology when an viva voce comes. The investigator, the examiner may not be knowing about that method. So you can defend, sir, this is the work which has been done by Amartya Sen. Or this is the method which has been used by Duflo and Banerjee. You must be able to say that. And literature review tell you if others have used procedures and methods similar to the one that you are proposing, which procedures and methods worked well for them and what pitfalls they have faced with them. This is also very important. We can criticize the methodology. What are the major problems with the methodology which they have been following? So that is why I am following a new methodology. You can justify that also. Then third one is broaden your knowledge base in your research area. Literature review ensures you read widely around the subject area in which you are intended to conduct your research study. It is important to know what other researchers have found with regard to the same or similar questions, what theories have been put forward, and what gap exists in the relevant body of knowledge. So that point is very important. After reading the literature only, you will be able to find out what are the unresearched areas. What are the theories put forward by the earlier researchers? Can I use that theory? Can I test this theory in the context in which I am living? So that is also very important. Then last point of literature survey is that it helps you contextualize your findings. Literature review helps identify how your findings compare with the existing body of knowledge. This is a very important point that you must remember because this is lacking in most of the, even the PhD theses. There is a watertight compartment system which we are following. Literature review chapter is closed by finding a research gap. We do not integrate whatever is finding out, whatever you have found out through this research review with your findings. Very few attempts have been done. I have already evaluated more than 15 theses of various universities. I could see any type of this integration only in one or two theses. One thesis from Jawaharlal Nehru University, another thesis from Central University of Hyderabad. These are the only two theses I could value by keeping in mind these points. So we have to improve upon that. And also, how do answers to your questions compare with what others have found? What contribution have you been able to make to the existing body of knowledge? How your findings different from others? These points are very, very important. How do you justify that your finding is different from others? You have to say, boldly say, what is your contribution to the existing knowledge? Because the ultimate aim of the research process is contributing to the existing knowledge. Because research will lead to theory, new theory will be developing, new insights will be developing, that will be used for the development of the economy and the world as a whole. So in brief, whatever I have just discussed, literature review helps to evaluate the context of scholarly material for its contribution to the understanding of the research thesis being studied. Research review explains the relationships between each of the works under deliberation. Review of literature identify gaps in previous research. It defines new ways to interpret research within a discipline. Review addresses conflicts found in contradictory research previously conducted and identify the need for additional research. That is the finding of the research gap. Because we don't go for repeated research, what we should say. So whenever we are going for a topic, that is how we say that only after the review of literature, you will be able to understand whether any such research as you are planning is done, at least in our university, you can search. Or in the universities in your state, or in the universities of other states, you have to see. But now we have no mechanism. The same topic is done in Calicut University, the same topic is registered with Kerala University. You are getting a degree, no contribution to the existing knowledge. This is what is happening in most of the cases. Then we come to different types of literature reviews. There are different types. I have no time to discuss all these things anyhow. You can see a lot of literature review articles to understand this. There are argumentative review, integrative review, historical review, methodological review. You can follow a systematic review. You can go for a theoretical review. These are different types which are following. Then you can also organize your literature in different way. For example, you can write your literature either in chronological way, that is in terms of in the form of years, beginning year, maybe old one, so that you can come to the new one like that, or you start with the new one and come down. Chronology. You can follow some chronology. Sometimes you can review on methodology. And finally, we have the thematically. So this thematically is one of the best way of research review, because the thematic research review presentation, organization will give the researcher a masterly touch. Otherwise, what we will do, we just take an article or a book, you write one paragraph. That the Krishnan Jalil has studied about a particular topic. He found that, he used this methodology, his findings are this. Kadam hoga. Stop it. We are going towards the next one. So there is no, what I call, there is no coherence, there is no integration with whatever Krishnan has studied with other people, how that is different, like that. So instead of that, I suggest that thematic way of organizing is one of the best. But for doing a thematic literature review, the researcher has to be thorough about the topic. He has to be sincere. He has to be committed. He has to be hardworking. Then only you will be able to cull out the different themes of interest to you. And accordingly, you can divide the topic into different themes. And whoever has studied about this, you can include in those categories or thematic. So that is that we call, sometimes we call it as a concept mapping, like that you can do concept mapping. You can also include what we call tables in the literature review. You can write tables, the author name, the main concept, what is his methodology, or what are the findings. That is also very, very interestingly, useful to even the next generation learners. So here, some of the questions to help you analyze the research will be also made in here. One is, what was the research question of the study you are reviewing? What were the authors trying to discover? So this point is very important when you discover the research literature and review the literature. What were authors trying to discover? What were the research questions that you want to review? Because when you go for a review of literature, you will come across thousands and thousands of articles, papers, especially after the entry of internet into the stream of reading and this type of publishing and uploading. You have more chance. But dear friends, remember, I did my research in 1990 At that time, there was no internet, even there was no other technology. Even typewriting was the main medium of our typing. Now you have computer. We have to take the photostat copy of each and every article which we want to. Now you have the mobile, you go to the library, take a photo, then send to your WhatsApp, or then send to your computer, you save it there, but you don't read. This is the issue. But earlier it was also, because we had to pay for, at that time, the rate of photostating was very high, 2 rupees, 3 rupees. So we will read the article, then only we will decide whether it is useful to my research or not. So now that reading culture has gone out, and we are going behind the fancy of including more thesis for bibliography titles only, without reading the essence of the article. This is very, very important. Okay. So, and now we come to the different steps in review of literature. We can follow this. Some of you may be following that. What is the first step? First step is search for relevant literature. Relevant literature is very important. So here the question is, in order to survey the relevant literature, you should have a topic of interest. That is very important. But suppose I ask you a question. A researcher who just completed his or her master's degree, he or she wanted to do a research. He approaches a guide, asks him, sir, I am interested to do that research, but I have no topic at hand, sir. Can you help me? This is the most general, way of research in our country. The teachers being too cooperative, they may be suggesting a topic and you will do that. This is what now the research, paradigm is going on. But normally, you see, if you don't have a research topic, how will you go with the research? Is the research topic identify the research supervisor is the ultimate, selection? No, because research is always a time-consuming, very long period exercise. It takes minimum 3 years, maximum maybe 6 years or 7 years, as permitted by the university regulation. So what happens is that when you embark for a research, when you join for a research, unless that research topic is liked by you, interested to you, you may be dropping out in between. So sometimes you may not have a topic at hand. What happens then? My suggestion is that in that case, if you have a good topic, okay, you can straight away go and find the relevant literature. But sometimes the students who are beginners may be interested to do research but don't have a topic of interest. Then the best way is that identify a broad area. A broad area. Then read the broad area for quite a couple of days. Then after reading that, the researcher will come to some minor area, then start reading. This is one way of starting your finding of relevant literature. Okay. So where we will see the relevant literature. This includes some of the useful database to search for journals and articles include one, your university's library catalog. You can go to the university where you have registered, ask the librarian the catalog. He will maintain a subject index or author index or some type of other method of keeping the library catalog. You can ask and find out. Second is very powerful search of the literature is now we are all following is Google Scholar search engine. It will give you most listed articles, JSTOR, EBSCO, Project News, Medline, Econlit Economics, Inspec, Physics, Engineering, and Computer Science. So these are the sites you can database you can use for searching the literature. So first you have to find out, you have to keep in mind where I can find my literature. That depends on your topic. You cannot get every article in the Economic and Political Weekly. You cannot get every article in another journal, maybe in the Journal of Management, the Journal of Economics and Commerce. You may not get. So you have to identify which are the best, database from where I will be able to locate the relevant literature. So just remember, these are the literature, database you can go for. Jester is also very good database. Very quality articles are maintained by them. Google Scholar, it is mostly used by our scholars nowadays. Then second step, after identifying the relevant literature, database and sources, second step that you have to follow is evaluate and select sources. You have to evaluate each publication. You have now downloaded maybe 1,000 or 2,000 articles which you may find it relevant. You have no time to read it and all that. So you have to select out of this selected, downloaded, saved materials. Then you have to evaluate each and every article. For each publication, ask yourself what question or problem the author was addressing. What were the core of the research of this paper? What are the key concepts and how are they defined? That is, in order to get a conceptual clarity. What are the key theories, models, and methods? Does the research use established frameworks to take an innovative approach? What are the results and conclusions of the study? How does the publication relate to other literature in the field? Does it confirm, add to, or challenge established knowledge? How does the publication which you read contribute to your understanding of the topic? What are its key insights and arguments? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the research? So this is a crucial stage, because after identifying, you have downloaded, you have saved, you have put in your wallet and all that. But after the first stage, you have to go to the second stage, which is highly rigorous. Highly rigorous in the sense that you are reading each article, find which one is useful to my study, what they have found out, what is the strength, how they have integrated with other findings and all that. So that is the second stage. Then third stage, identify themes, debates, and gaps. Very important stage. To begin organizing your literature reviews, argument and structure, you need to understand the connections and relationships between the sources you have read. Based on your understanding and notes, you can look for what are the things you can look for after reading that. The trends and patterns in theory, in method, and result. You can find out what is the major theories put forward in the area of your interest. What are the major methods adopted by the previous researchers? What are the main findings of their studies? Do certain approaches become more or less popular over time? Sometimes the same methodology may be used even after 25 years. Sometimes the old methods have gone. You can understand that. Themes. Themes means what questions or concepts recur across the literature. Debates, conflicts, and contradictions. Where do sources disagree? Pivotal publications. Are there any influential theories or studies that changed the direction of the field? Then finally, gaps. What is lacking in those literature? What is missing from the literature? Are there weaknesses that need to be addressed? So the last point, always we say that research review is helping to fill the gap. But how many theses have gap? This is the question. Because we are unable to find the real fact of the gaps in our studies. And step 4, after having understood all these things, you move towards organizing your research, outline the review. There are various approaches to organize the body of literature you have studied. You should have a rough idea of the strategy which you are starting writing. I already mentioned that there are different methods. One is chronological. You can use chronological. Chronological means from starting from an old date to the new date, you can go and you follow. Thematic, as on the basis of the theme which you are going to address in your thesis, you can go for thematic. You can also have a methodological way of analyzing and also theoretical way of analyzing, that you can decide in what way I am going to. Normally what we are doing is we are going for an easier way. In most of the thesis what I have seen is that studies in Kerala, studies in India, studies in international. That's all. This is the way we are going to. So within a subgroup, what happens is that without having any thematic configuration, we are going on writing without any full stop. Like a non-stop bus we are going. So there is no thread in between. We cannot understand what is happening in Kerala with that of India. So this point is very, very important. So outline your research. Then fifth stage is that start writing your literature. Like any other academic text, your literature review should have. So if you start a literature review chapter, how it should be written. This is what this is meant. Writing your literature review, it should have an introduction. You can start with an introduction. Introduction in the sense that you have to start with the research proposition you want to analyze, how this topic is important, whatever studies, main focus of the studies of the previous period, and you start the following review of literature part will explain briefly and very seriously the major works introduced in that area. That is, the second is a main body. And finally, a conclusion. What you include in each of the above sections depend on the objectives of your literature review. So remember, dear friends, you should organize your literature review like this. An introductory part may be 1 page or 2 pages, no doubt. But nowadays, what happens? The introductory part we will write. Most of the thesis, what I am seeing, you define what is research review. Research review is the presentation of the work of others. It is very helpful. It gives a route and it gives the direction of the present research. This is not what is expected. This is the general way of presenting literature review in our conventional universities. This is not so. You have to start with your research, focus, research debate, your research question. How you are going to address this? So, okay, this should be the fifth step. And when you do that, when your literature survey is done beautifully, you can identify a problem of your research. And that problem of research is nothing but your research objectives. Hope you are clear. So, from research review, we have to find the roots in the emerging issues. That is important. One has to find, the researcher has to find the root of the research objective or research problem in the emerging issues from your literature survey. A problem statement should be presented within a context, including a discussion of the conceptual or theoretical framework in which it is embedded. If framed in the context of a general rambling literature review, this is very important. If you frame your research objectives in a general, from a rambling literature review, the research question which you are posing may appear trivial and uninteresting. But placed in the context of a very focused and current research area, the same research questions seem to be important to the reader. Hope you are clear. The statement of purpose or objective should provide a clear, specific, and accurate synopsis of the overall purpose of the study. So the objective of the study should give a clear, specific, and accurate idea of your objectives, why you are conducting the study, why other areas. So you must be able to tell that. And coming to the references. Coming to the references, as Rajiv Thomas was telling me to speak on this issue also, because when you go for plagiarism check, what happens is that you have more similarity content when coming to the review of literature. This can be avoided only when you cite accordingly. So I think there is a lecture on plagiarism by Mr. Vinod on the last day. He will make it clear. So in Calicut University, as I know that, they are giving some concession to literature review part, because most of the write-up is based on previous research. So in that way, but if you go for Turnitin software for plagiarism check, it won't allow us to follow that. It gives a maximum similarity index. So if the similarity index is high, no publisher will accept your publication. So citing the article and writing the review of literature should be done with the utmost caution. So what I would suggest is that you don't copy each and every line from internet and paste in your thesis. What happens is that when you do like that, the link of that source will be appeared somewhere on that. That is one thing. And when your thesis is put into this plagiarism check, they will underline that this 100%, maybe 100% similarity, like that. So you'll be in trouble. So when you write the literature review, my suggestion is that you have to read and rewrite the literature in your own words, rather than copying the abstract. Mostly what we do, we don't read the article fully. That is true. I don't know how many of you are reading that. If you are reading that, I am very happy. But we know that most of the students of research, even PhD research, what they are doing is they are reading only the abstract, copying it and write and put in, paste in the review of literature, and finally they will add so and so and bibliography. That's over. There are some smart boys and girls, researchers. What they do another thing. They will read only first or second paragraph, then read the final paragraph, the conclusion, merge it, and also. Actually, this is not the way of writing the literature. Okay, friends, you can improve upon that. So for citing, also very important. For example, book by a single author, if you are citing, this is the way, single author. Suppose single author means it is not an edited book. In that case, what you can do is Lenin CB, one single man, that is author, year, title of the book, edition, that is first edition or second edition if it is, city. And normally we are writing the city name or the publishing place in front of the publisher, like Prentice Hall, Sultan Chand, or Sage, etc. So this is the way that if we are single author, then book by more than one author, you can write like this: Cornet M, Willie, BJ, and Shankar S. But in the citation, what you can do, you can give, if the authors are more than two, you can write, what you can write? You can write first author dot etal, ETAL. But in the reference or in the bibliography, you have to give the name of the full members. Here also, author, year, name of the book, edition, place of publication, name of the publisher. Article. If in the case of article, author, year, name of the article title, journal name, volume number, issue number, page number. That is enough. So it should be full. It should be full in the sense that it should be complete in every respect. But what happens, I have seen that most of the theses, we don't have page number, we don't have the volume number, we have only this year or sometimes the name. Why? Because you haven't seen that. This is the reason. You have copied it from somewhere else. And that also, the somewhere else also copied from somewhere else. So the somewhere else going like a cycle. That should not happen. Okay, this is the way that you can cite the journal article. This is very important. Referencing electronic sources. We are using a lot of electronic resources now. We are getting from website or some other platforms. So in that case, what you can say is sometimes author name is there, year, date is also there. Then title of the article. Sometimes it may be an online newspaper. You can write that paper and write. You may be getting it an article published in 2015. You may be getting in 2020. So you can say that retrieved from the site and retrieved on the date. That should also be mentioned. Okay, friends, these are the points I want to share with you. So my submission is that literature review is really one of the most laborious task in research, but we seldom apply that labor in that. So finally what happens, just like we talk about computer, garbage in, garbage out. This is what is happening, so that your publication will not find a good publisher to publish. You can publish anywhere. Now publication is not a problem because there are so many publication companies. By paying 3,000, 4,000, publication of a book about 8,000 to 15,000, you can get it published. But you become, if you want to become a real scholar, an accepted scholar in your field, you have to work hard. So I hope you are now able to understand something about review of literature in the last 1 hour of my lecture. Okay, dear friends, you can add to what I have given to you, lectured to you. You can ask any clarification, etc. So over to the organizers, Mr. Rajiv sir.
Thanks, sir, for the wonderful session. That was very educative and creative, sir. We will go ahead and take some time for discussion now. Please be sure to type your questions in the chat box or unmute your microphone and ask your questions to your resource person. Sir, there are some questions.
Yeah, welcome. Either they can post their questions in the chat box, no problem, or they can unmute their mic and ask directly.
Yes. Sir, hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, why not?
My name is Arun Dev.
Arun Dev, okay.
Yes. So, my question, can you please explain the theoretical way of doing review of literature in much more detail and with the help of an example?
Yeah. Okay. So, example we cannot say exactly because saying and writing is different, as you know. But anyhow, if you are working on a topic on empowerment, we are one of the most often terms used in the first decade of 21st century is empowerment of women, right? Every activity is leading to empowerment of women, SNGs and empowerment, microfinance and empowerment, financial inclusion and empowerment. So we have different concepts of connection between empowerment. For example, women empowerment we are talking about. So how do you review this concept? So ultimately your research may be like this. A study on the role of microfinance in empowering women. This is your PhD topic. So how do we go about this? So my suggestion is that we have to start with the conceptual meaning of empowerment. You can find out a large number of conceptual definition about empowerment by Mr. Nila Kabir or foreign African, Sri Lankan, American, authors. You can call out all these concepts, how they have visualized empowerment. Sometimes they may be saying that the microfinance will increase the agency of the woman, poor woman, and this agency will help them to empower a lot. So there is an agency approach. You can test how this agency works in the proposed scheme, proposed microfinance scheme you are looking at. Sometimes we may say that empowerment is meant as economic, political, or social empowerment. What does all this mean? So in that way, we can give a conceptual definition of empowerment on the one part. That is the, I should say. Then you can go for empirical analysis about these concepts. Then you can link between which are the studies addressing empowerment in terms of agency, which are the studies which are emphasizing empowerment in terms of economic, social, and political empowerment, or which are the studies which connects empowerment with participation. So in that way, you can divide the literature review in different themes. It will be more nice. And accordingly, you can streamline your research in such a fashion that these are the areas which have been studied, and the gap I have found out is this. So I am finding out afresh what is the contribution of a particular scheme in women empowerment. Are you clear? Hello, Arun?
Yes, sir. It's clear. It's clear.
Yeah,
sir, one more question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, let's say, so can we select a particular variable which is out of a review of literature? Let's say we have done literature review in connection with empowerment, and we are finding out that a particular variable is not studied yet. No,
why not?
no.
You can. Yeah, you
Yes,
can do that, because that is how you are connecting. That is a contribution to the research knowledge.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You may find that this particular variable is very important, which have not been attended to, examined by other researchers. So my interest is to examine whether this variable is so important. You can apply a regression analysis. You can apply some qualitative analysis. You can find whether this variable is more prominent than the variables which have been talked about by other researchers. Right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, sir. Another question raised by Rabinder. Are literature review and literature survey same in research?
Are literature review
and literature survey same in research?
Same.
Is it same or?
Yeah, literature survey means literature review same, because literature survey means you are surveying through the available literature. Surveying means reading. It is not a primary survey. Just like you are not going to the field, you are going to the articles, the write-up of the people. Okay, same, no doubt.
So another question.
Yeah.
Can you make a list of periodicals which is used for literature?
Yeah. Please be louder. I can't hear you.
Can we say that the review literature is a connection between the past, present, and future for a particular concept?
No, future you cannot say, because what is the present? What is the present? You can analyze. And from there you start your research. What is left by others? Or you can see maybe some of the research may have conducted in very different localities, geographic regions. Right. So that region specificity may lead to that conclusion. That may not be applicable to a particular region. So you can replicate the same study, changing the geography. So it is not a futuristic option. What we are doing is we are connecting the existing finding with your study. Whatever is lacking, whatever I can do, just like Mr. Arun was asking about, can I take a new variable like that? You can take a new variable, identify, and see whether this is more relevant. In that way, no doubt. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, clarify citation and referencing in research. Sir, please clarify citation and referencing in research.
Reference?
Citation and referencing.
Citation. Yeah. Citation, we have to provide citation within the text. Within the text. That is what is normally doing. For example, if you write a paragraph like this, Amartya Sen, in bracket you write 1999, in his research found that there is a relationship between poverty and entitlement. Right? So this is citation. So you are writing only Amartya Sen 1990. Right? But in reference you have to give Sen Amartya, that is the second word will come first. That is the APA style, we call American Psychological Association style, because every university is following different style of writing the bibliography. In humanities and social sciences, what we are now, Calicut University is also using APA style, American Psychological Association style, where you have to write the second part of the name first. For example, Amartya Sen, we write Sen, Amartya. Manmohan Singh, C, Manmohan. So in that way, you have to give in reference the full details. But there are some citation rules that we have to follow. Normally, it is alphabetic order we are giving in the what we call references or the bibliography. And there is a difference between reference and bibliography, because in the reference, we are citing only those works which are referred by the research. But in bibliography, you can include any items, even though you are not referred, you can include in the bibliography, because it will help the future researchers, prospective researchers to see that these are the books relevant to this particular topic.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
And another question.
Yeah.
Sharma. How to conduct a review of literature if one has to link library research with a field-based findings for one's research work?
Library.
How to conduct a review of literature if one has to link library research with a field-based finding?
Library research means what? I can't understand that.
Jigyasa Sharma.
You please, Sharma, what is your, what do you mean by library research? The research in library science you are talking about? Hello?
Jigyasa Sharma, please.
Sharma, are you talking about what I call research in library science or library research? Or sitting in the library and doing research? That is what mostly we are doing. We are going to the library and reading from there and writing from there and submitting. Field research is different. Okay, he is not audible. There is one question from Deepika Kumari in the chat box. What is, how many papers or articles should be reviewed in master's thesis work or any other research? Is there any rule? Deepika, you remember that it is not the number that matters, the quality and the theme which you are interested to do research is important. You can read any number of articles or papers which are connected to your area of research. And also, especially for master thesis, we know that we don't have much time. We will have only one semester or maximum 2 semesters. So unlike the PhD or MPhil program, now MPhil is already stopped, no problem. In your PhD, we read around 6 months, 7 months, I told you. You can include 200, 300 articles or papers, but for master thesis, you can include maybe 15 or 20. I don't say a particular limit, and there is nothing black and white about this number to be followed anywhere in this country. Okay.
Okay, sir. A question raised by Anupi Matthew. Please explain the difference between thematic, theoretical, and methodological structure of review presentation.
Yeah, thematic, I told you, thematic is one of the very difficult way of presenting your literature review. Thematic means you have to identify different theme. Theme I told you. For example, in the earlier question I told you empowerment. What is empowerment? One most often argument is that empowerment is agency. Agency, developing the agency. Agency means our self. Improving the self. That will improve your confidence. It will improve your personality, leadership. That is what this Kudumbashree and all these things are doing. They are giving people training. They are giving people, women, especially women, loan, credit, thrift, so many things. So, and they are also participating in meeting. That will give their agency to work positively. So, in that way, you can define agency. How many work on agency-related issues? Sometimes somebody may be working on empowerment in terms of economic, social, and political upliftment. So, in that way, your theme will be on that basis. So, accordingly, your area of interest you can divide. So in the beginning, you cannot do that. You can do it only after reading this work. So you have to keep a record, maybe a notebook or an Excel sheet, prepare some tables, write the first author, the second author, the title of the article, the methodology they have used, the theme which they have find out. So you have to keep all these details in one Excel form so that you can easily to cull out the arguments and the important things. So in that way, thematic is one of the best one, but it takes much time. But when you do a thematic review of literature, nobody is there to question you. Nobody is there to question you. But unfortunately, what I have seen, a thesis submitted in 2020, there was no literature after 2012. After 2012, no literature was there. That doesn't, does it mean that after 2012 there is no studies on that? Because guide was so cooperative, so he was not looking at that. So when the examiner report came, it was highlighted that the study did not have any literature survey after 2012. So she is asked to resubmit or revise the thesis. So in that way, we have to write the literature either thematically up to the current period, or methodologically. Methodology means the different methodology we are using, the model which we are using. You can write like that. Anyhow, I should say that there is no full stop to review literature. Till you bind your thesis, I should say that, till you bind your thesis, the literature survey should continue. After binding, we know that we cannot insert any review of that. So you have to go on reviewing. You have to go on reviewing. Okay.
Okay, sir. Another question. What kind of literature reviews are needed in qualitative research?
Qualitative research. Yeah, qualitative research also, we need not worry about. There are so many studies in sociology, psychology, social work. These are the major disciplines in which qualitative studies are prominent. And these research reports are published. There is no difference, whether it is quantitative research or qualitative research. You will get the resource from the database which I have just mentioned, Google Scholar. You go. And also one thing you have to remember, you have to ensure that the research review you are referring is of quality. But we are not going for quality, we are going for quantity only. So most of the commerce and management, the economics, the sociology, what I have seen in that, around a couple of articles, more articles have been copied from Yojana, Kurukshetra, Southern Economist. They are not qualitative journals. Yojana, Kurukshetra, these are only an information journal of the government of India. Southern Economist is a private publication from Bangalore. They are publishing articles by getting money. You have to read research journals. So that is why I tell you, you must read articles written by prominent figures. You can go to the Google citation index. I will tell you. Go to the citation index. Give a name, person's name. For example, if you go to the citation index, Google site, you can say the H index of Krishnan Chalil. It will lead you to a page where you can see Krishnan Chalil, which are the major publications of his, and what are the citations, how many people have read these articles, in how many journals it has been cited. There is an H index, there is an I-10 index. So if the H index and I-10 index of a author is highest, he is the best known person in that area. So don't go for mediocre journals. Don't go for mediocre researches. You must aptly describe only the findings of best known researchers. I am not against this Yojana Kurikshetra because I had written a lot of articles in Yojana Kurikshetra and even what I say, Southern Economist and all. But it can be only numbers. It is only what I call that I can add to my biodata and all that. They are not research journals. Research journals are journals which are publishing articles on a peer review basis. You too. Article published in Economic and Political Weekly, other Scopus indexed journals, Elsevier journals, Gestor. If you include only articles from these journals, your thesis will look very standard. So we have to be very, very cautious about the selection of articles, journals, even the authors. Very, very important. Okay.
Okay,
Any
sir.
question? Yeah, I have so many questions in chat box. May I go to that?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Chat box, we have questions.
So the question raised by Fatima Anoop.
Fatima, continue. Fatima?
Anoop.
എന്താണ് ഫാത്തിമ ഒന്നും മിണ്ടാത്തത്?
Whether it is possible to...
Yeah, welcome Fatima. You are most welcome.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, please.
So whether we can follow the chronological process.
That depends on your research. If you are interested in, if your objective of research is to find out the historical evolution of a particular issue, you can follow that. If you are going to understand the
Thank you, sir.
chronological issue of it, for example, if you are looking at the banking development in India now, you can discuss in a chronological way. Banking from 1947 to 1969, one stage, right? Then 69 to 1991,
Yes.
another stage, nationalization. 1991 and after, we have liberalization. So in that way, you can find out a chronology. You can maintain a chronology. Accordingly, you can review, right? Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay,
If anybody have questions to ask?
yeah, we have some
Sir,
questions in the chat box. Yeah, please, Smita.
I have a question.
Please, yeah.
Sir, I think for literature review, we have two stages. In the first stage, we will read a lot of journals and books. And in the second stage, we will write it for the chapter. So is there any particular format which we can follow while writing? When we are reading, we will understand, we will address the gap. We will get a lot of concepts we will get different themes, concepts, and research designs. We will understand we will get a new vision about our study. So in the second stage, I am a little bit confused. Is there any particular format to be followed?
Yeah, format I told you, that all depends on your research question. You have some research, focus in your mind. So accordingly, you can divide the total literature which you have read, maybe either thematic based or methodologically, or on the basis of some theory, or any other way. It is you can decide. You must have a rationale, right? You must have a rationale for presenting your literature review. Otherwise, what will happen? It will not, the review of literature will not have any focus at all. You are just going on talking about one article, one paragraph, one book, another paragraph, one source, another, without any connection. So it has to be, what I should say is that literature review should be coherent. That should connect. And also sometimes, there are some scholars who may be agreeing with a particular debate. There are some scholars who are not agreeing with another one. So what you have to do is you have to include those who are agreeing with this type of analysis. You can include them as one group. then move on to the second group who are against this particular thing. For example, how the new higher education policy impacts higher education. New education policy is announced. There are people who support it. There are people who are against it, right? So in that case, there are a stream of others who are supporting this on the ground of these points. There are some others who are against this policy. It will not improve the higher education standard. They are pointing out these are the major issues. So you can also, like that, pro and against review can also be done in the same theme. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Are you clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
There is a concept by CSSRL Hanuman Rao. Sir, can we say that the review of literature is a connection between the past, present, and future? I already told you that. We cannot say the future. Future, you people are doing research. You can connect the present and the past with your study. You cannot, review of literature is not a futuristic one. Please share any good book to follow, citations and defenses to follow it systemically. You can see n number of books on the internet. N number of books every day, every now and then, minutes, every nanoseconds. We have citation, and also you can go for major university sites. You can go to universities of Berkeley. You just note. Berkeley University has brought out a manual on citation. It is very useful. Oxford University, Chicago University, all the major international universities are maintaining their own style, and they will accept their thesis submitted by the scholars only if they are following this style. We are not following. That is the issue. So you can go to Berkeley University, one of the best sites I suggest you. Books, there are so many books. You can go for MLA style, MLA handbook. I think Dr. Raji will purchase that. Their library may have. It is not at all a problem. Thematic way of doing review of literature, I already mentioned. There is one another question by Jigsha Sharma. How to conduct review of literature if one has to link libraries? That also I answered. Another one, Anupi Matthew explained the difference between thematic, theoretical, and methodological. That is also explained. Sir, can I call the literature review as library research? I don't understand what you mean by library research. There is no such research. I have never seen such a word. Library research means what? It is an erroneous word that we cannot say library research. Library research, you may mean that going to the library and researching on that. There is no such thing. Library is everywhere. I am sitting in a library. You can see thousands of books in my room. Don't worry about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Deepika Kumari. I am very happy that we have participants from all around India, and Mr. Rajiv and his friends have given this platform to join such a meeting. Very interesting. And also, I should tell you that I am not the last word on research review. I am only a beginner. Still, I am learning. Still, I am reading. So even I cannot maintain whatever I have explained in my scholar's thesis, because scholars have so many excuses. They have so many things for ladies. They have so many health issues, family issues, job-based issues. So what we do is we just shut our eyes as a guide. Rajiv also knows. Gopalakrishnan knows. Because what we do is we just shut our eyes and permit it to submit. Okay, for getting a degree, okay, you do it, you take it. But after doing your PhD, don't stop. You start the original review. So PhD is only a beginning of research. It is not the end of research. So that is what I have to add to this lecture. So I am very happy that we have been together for the last around 1 hour and 45 minutes with all the preoccupations, the pandemic issues. You are also academic. That is the beauty of this pandemic I have seen, that nobody is, I should say that this closure of colleges or the universities have a bad effect on the academic learning and all that. No, if it is opened, this will not happen. Nobody from, Delhi, nobody will from Delhi come to Chungatara Marthama College to attend this workshop. Or nobody from Hyderabad come here and attend. So only because of this pandemic, COVID pandemic only, we could get a very good platform. I think we could see each other. Some of you can be. I can see all the names here. Okay, I can. You can also meet me not in person but through figure. My photo you can see. You can hear me. That's all. Why should we? I have also learned a lot of things during this pandemic. I am using this technology, that is online learning and online discussion, for the first time in this pandemic only. So, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rajiv and other participants. We don't have much time to